Well, dear friends, welcome. I apologize for sending all of the children away. I understand I was supposed to instruct the scouts to stay, but I think there were so many I just forgot. So hopefully all is going well. The title of today's message is Grounding in a Heart of Love. And I just want to welcome you here before I get started. For anyone who doesn't know me, my name is Keren Tischler. And I want to offer gratitude to each of you for finding a way to be here today, whether online or in person, whether you came for the breakfast or not. And finding a way to show up for what is real in your life outside of this building. I just want to acknowledge you've arrived here in the midst of your life as it is. You've arrived in the midst of your family as it is, maybe your health as it is, our nation as it is, and our earth and the world just as it is. You've shown up even though maybe your life is full or a little too full. Maybe you have some overwhelm in your life or some underwhelm. Maybe your heart is heavy or light. But no matter how it is that you're showing up today, you're welcome here. You and your beliefs or your non-beliefs, whatever they may be, your gender identity, your sexual orientation, your skin color, your ancestral lineage, all of those are needed and belong here. So thank you for showing up. I'm glad you're here. And I also want to again thank the Cub Scout Pack for the service that they provided to the fellowship this morning. It was a great cacophony of sound when I arrived. And I was so kindly asked if I would like coffee or tea when I arrived. I am pretty new, as many of you know, to this fellowship, and I have a lot to learn, but I feel pretty aware that the topic, the UU Soul Matters topic for this month, which is inclusion, is actually at the heart, at the core of UU principles, as far as I currently understand them. And so I can imagine that perhaps the swift and chaotic feeling of the changes that have been happening in our nation in the last couple of weeks might be causing some feelings in you. And I don't want to guess what those feelings are. I can't imagine, but there's probably lots of things I can't imagine, and I don't want to exclude anyone's feelings. Some people might feel kind of dizzy at the pace of what's happening, and some people feel targeted. Perhaps you feel worried that you can't keep up, but you want to do your part. So we just want to acknowledge if any of that is there for you. Of course it is. Of course. As I consider the message that might serve today, the answer keeps shifting with every day's passing news. It's like, oh, yeah, I'll talk about this. Oh, never mind, that's not relevant anymore. It was just like, wow, so fast. But what remains for me is a sense that it feels necessary to kind of, at these times for me personally, to reach into the core of what feels inclusive, to consider the heart of the matter, which is our hearts. So my intention today is to come to you with what Buddhists call don't know mind. I don't know. I don't have any answers, but I too am just willing to show up. And I think that perhaps that is enough. So I just say that I'm just a messenger today. I'm not someone with answers or any particular knowledge or any particular wisdom, but everyone here has wisdom within them, and hopefully we can access some of that together. So the sermon that was delivered in Washington, D.C. the day following the inauguration by Episcopal Bishop Marianne Buddy called for unity in our nation, and I suspect many of you have either heard about this or listened to it. She specifically called for a sturdier, broader unity. That the kind of unity, she said, that fosters community across diversity and division, a unity that serves the common good. And she quoted author and Soviet dissident Alexander Solzhenitsyn, who said, "The line separating good and evil passes not through states, not through political parties, but right through every human heart." Right through every human heart. Every human heart. Right through your heart and my heart too. No hearts excluded. Can you feel that? To be honest, I get a little squeamish around language like good and evil. But I can hear in this quote at least two important messages, or two messages that I think are important. One is that divisiveness is a construct. Lines can be drawn here and there, creating an us and a them. But all of this is just a story. And two, no matter what is happening to freedom outwardly, we always have agency over our own hearts. And a heart that is undissected by good and evil, or right or wrong, well, this is wholehearted. And this kind of heart is more likely to be at peace with itself, in my opinion. Being wholehearted, we feel whole, and this wholeness gives us a core strength. Wholeheartedness, then, is itself a stabilizing and a grounding feeling. It gives us courage. And courage, the word courage comes from the Latin word cor, meaning heart. It also gives us an unforced, but an emergent energy and an ability to act. So sometimes, in my experience, I'm trying to push myself into something, but with wholeheartedness, I feel I naturally am able. What is grounding about wholeheartedness is also calming. I dare say wholeheartedness is the wellspring of this sturdier and broader unity that the bishop called for in that inauguration sermon. I think being wholehearted is being grounded in love. And this all sounds really nice, you might say, but is this for the real world, really? Well, I'm thinking about Thich Nhat Hanh, who lived through his country, Vietnam, being torn apart by war and division. And I think Thich Nhat Hanh thought this was a valid approach. In fact, he committed his life to love. In a recently published interview of Thich Nhat Hanh by Bell Hooks, who's the late Black feminist writer, intellectual dissident, and Buddhist practitioner, she asked Thich Nhat Hanh, why does it feel like in the US we are moving away from love? Thich Nhat Hanh's response was that love must be in our own hearts, in our own families, and in our own communities. It's not only society, the world outside that needs love, he said. We ourselves need love. But we can't expect that love to come from outside of us. Are we capable of loving ourselves as well as others? Are we treating our bodies kindly? By the way we eat and drink, by the way we work? Are we treating ourselves with enough joy and tenderness and peace? Or are we feeding ourselves with toxins that we get from the market, the spiritual, intellectual, entertainment market? Thich Nhat Hanh continues, loving ourselves means loving our community. When we are capable of loving ourselves, we are already protecting and nourishing society. In the moment when we are able to look at ourselves with compassion, our world begins to change. We may not have done anything, but when we are relaxed, when we are peaceful, when we are able to smile and not be violent in the way we look at the system, at that moment, there is a change already in the world. This relaxed and peaceful state that results from being grounded in love that Thich Nhat Hanh spoke of, well, this is pretty tricky territory, right? We may find ourselves losing our footing and falling into the paralysis of apathy or despair on one end, or perhaps we fall into pathological service, forgetting our own needs on the other end. How can we maintain our footing when it feels like the ground is crumbling beneath our feet? Perhaps we can look to those whom we think have been able to achieve this in the midst of great difficulty. Whether this for you is someone well-known, like Thich Nhat Hanh, or someone in your life who embodies these qualities. In the same interview with Thich Nhat Hanh, Bell Hooks said, I think one of the most wonderful books Martin Luther King wrote was called Strength to Love. I always liked it because of the word strength, which counters the Western notion of love as easy. Instead, Martin Luther King said you must have courage to love, that you have to have a profound will to do what is right to love, that it does not come easy. You have to have have courage and a profound will to love. You have to have a strong back and a soft front. This sounds like what is, to me, what is referred to in Japanese Zen as Robai Shin, or grandmother's heart. And I don't mean to exclude you grandfathers out there. I think you're capable of embodying grandmother's heart also. Zen Buddhist priest Roshi Joan Halifax describes grandmother's heart as a heart that is rooted in deep compassion and equanimity and able to remain balanced in the face of both joy and suffering. It brings with it the wise perspective born of wisdom, of time. When grounded in grandmother's heart, we are authentic. Our actions emanate from our wholeness. Our actions have integrity. They feel less a reactivity or an allergy to our environment and the conditions around us, and more of a wise or an appropriate response. So, dear friends, how can we respond to this call for unity? Can we commit to being wholehearted? Grounding in a heart of love for ourselves so that we can show up in grounding, loving support of our families, our communities, and as citizens? Can we come home to our wholeheartedness as the foundation for a sturdier, broader union with all life? Thank you for your presence today and your attention. May your heart be grounded in wisdom and compassion. When needed, may you feel lifted by community, by those things that support you, by music, by art, and restored for the work ahead, aware of when the need arises to return home again.